Hi, so over the weekend I talked to my mom about her experience when the first time she voted, and she said she was 18 years old, and it was in 1988, and it was for the George W. Bush and Michael Dukakis presidential election. George Bush ended up winning this election, and 2 years later, the U.S. went to Desert Shield, which was kind of like the first version of Desert Storm. Um, at this time, my mom was in college at ODU, which is in Norfolk, Virginia, where the largest naval base in the world is located. And she said that the U.S. was sending out aircraft carriers into the Gulf, I guess from Norfolk. So she said that was pretty interesting. She also mentioned that her and her college roommate were both dating guys in the Navy at the time, and they eventually got sent out to fight in Desert Storm. And she said it was a very scary time for the country. I then asked her how much she thinks the country has changed in terms of politics from since the first time she voted, and she said it was a lot different back then, and she believes that the country was a lot more united too. I then asked her where she stands today in terms of politics, and she said she's kind of in the middle, so I guess independent. And she said she's not a huge fan of either Kamala or Trump, but she says she's independent because she agrees with some things that the Democrats support, but she also agrees with some things that the Republicans support. So yeah, that was kind of cool to hear about where she stands and her experience on the first time she voted. Technology and security have progressed drastically since the 80s, and what made me think of this is because I was at the airport this weekend because me and my mom went to Arizona for my brother's football game, and she mentioned that TSA wasn't a thing back when she used to travel in college, and it didn't matter what you could or couldn't bring on the plane. So I mean, that's just it's really interesting, and it shows you how much technology and security have progressed over the years. And I also think this was an interesting conversation, since this November will be my first time voting, and it was also cool to hear about my mom's first time, her experience as a first time voter. And it was also interesting to see and hear about how the country has changed so much since then.